Hello Twin Flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your energy update. Today we're going to do a classic spread, so we'll take a look at the energy of Divine Feminine Collective, Divine Masculine, and we'll see what the dynamic is like. We'll get the messages between the twins, and we'll also see what specific theme, specific lesson the twins are learning at this time. I do have my new deck with me today, so we'll be doing the main spread is going to be done with a new deck that's called Ukrainian Tarot. It's absolutely beautiful, you'll see. And I am using one of my newest decks, the Sacred Forest Oracle, for an oracle message. So let's get started. I hope you guys are doing great. So I've been a little MIA recently. I've been waiting for a while to use that phrase, but I guess it's true in this case. It's just a lot has been happening, and I'm finally at my new place. I still need to unpack quite a lot of stuff, but we're getting there. And I found my cards, although of course now I have some new cards, so it's also a process, of finding spots of like, where's this gonna be, where does this go. I am aiming at bringing back my regular spot, like the studio setting with the backdrops. It will be easier, I think, then, but no promises of the dates when that's gonna happen. For now, we'll just have to live with me doing the readings from different spots in the apartment. So we'll begin right away. Among the big events coming up soon, we have full moon in Scorpio. It's happening on May 1st. You can check the time according to your local time zone. I will be recording a full moon video yesterday, most likely. Yes, of course, yes. The concept of time is so relative. I will be recording it tomorrow, so you'll still have some time before the 1st to get your message. Scorpio takes us very deeply into feelings and emotions that we suppress, that are considered unpermissible in the society, that maybe we've hidden so it doesn't hurt as much because we've been through a lot with that, or there's an association with a certain experience, and it's never comfortable, obviously, but it's also freeing to be able to acknowledge them. And of course our ego steps in, and then it becomes sometimes an inner battle of like, am I over that person, or am I jealous of this person, or am I whatever, fearful to go for what I want because XYZ, right? And maybe on the surface there are perfectly reasonable explanations why you don't take action, but deep down, and this is the part to acknowledge and to face, there's fear of failure, fear of criticism and judgment, whatever it is, right? So what I mean is that is usually the difficult part, because sometimes I get questions like, so what's the big deal? Okay, so I acknowledge what's next. Like, that's the big deal, and that's what the moonlight illuminates for you during the full moon. And then of course, once you acknowledge it, once you're aware and accept it, and you can then process it and you can release it, you can alchemize it and free yourself from it, which is really magical. This is a water sign, so last thing I'm going to say, so you can think about doing some rituals connected with water. Like, I now live close to the ocean, thank God for that. I'm definitely going to do something with a swim in the ocean. You can do affirmations. You can kind of visualize that you're washing away certain fear or certain trauma, whatever, ego experience or karmic experience you've been going through. All kinds of things that you can work with. If you don't have a body of water, shower, baths also work. And more than anything, look up how this full moon impacts your natal chart specifically. And these days, you can go as easily as, you don't even need special apps. You can just put in your information into one of the LLMs in AI, and they'll give you the information. So there will be a reading where I'll give you guidance for each zodiac sign. And I do recommend if you don't have, there will be timestamps. If you don't have time to see the sun, the moon, and the rising sign message at least see the moon sign message, because we're talking about the lumination event in this case. Okay, now I'm done with the premise. Please like the video, it helps me circulate this with people who need to hear this message. Also, I do personal readings, so if you're interested, hit me up. You can email me, you can even leave a comment, maybe with your contact info. What else can you do? I'm on socials. I have a Facebook page, and there's Instagram, of course, more for personal stuff, but you can still message me there. But I think email is the most reliable. The second most reliable is to book a free session with me. There's a free consultation that you can book. There's a link in the description box, and then we can discuss more specifically your questions, your needs, expectations. Maybe you don't really know which questions to ask, and I can advise, give you some ideas, right? We can discuss the details. So, Divine Feminine, your oracle message for today is from Standing Stones Passage. You know, these are like those big stones. By the way, the word milestone comes from one of these. Like, there used to be in ancient roads in Rome, I think, ancient Roman Empire. They had these huge stones after each mile, so that's how they could measure approximately at least the distance that they're covering, or even the location, right? Like it's this mile. But anyway, Standing Stones are a lot about the construct of time and society, right? The stones, by the way, would be still the milestones, but more like a lot of times this is a representation of the calendar, for instance, and there will be milestones, like big events in the year, right? Or this is an acknowledgement of certain time, right? Like a clock device that shows you time. And the passage is oftentimes not as simple or not as complex as you think, right? Like sometimes the details of the stones or who built them or when it happened doesn't matter. It is a passage for you into a new phase of life, into a new reality, maybe meeting someone new, right? That's what matters. That's the focus right now. You're taking a passage to a new realm, new timeline. There we go. Haven't used that for a while. By the way, 5/5 portal is coming up, so I'm definitely going to be doing a reading for that. And still the DM deep dive is coming up. Not today, but I will get to it probably over the weekend. Masculine. So you've got the water spirit, speaking of the full moon in the water sign. And moon, of course, is connected to the water itself. Manifesting dreams. Interesting. But dreams is the key word here. And dreams is not so much as like daydreaming, like, I don't know, I have a dream of becoming a pilot. It's more about the dreams that you see when you sleep, right? And what do those tell you about where you're headed? Or, you know, where you want to be or what you want to be. So now it's time to manifest those into reality. And you can use the water spirit, right, for like as a medium, you know, to send the message. So that's another way of how you can use the element of the water divine masculines during the full moon. This is not the full moon reading yet, but since we are doing this very close to the full moon, I'm just adding this extra information. That water is a great transmitter, as you know, and you can also send messages to nature, to your guides, while you're interacting with water. For manifestation purposes in this case. So not only for cleansing, but also to manifest your dreams. Okay, let's go to the main reading. This is literally the first reading that I'm doing with this deck. It's absolutely beautiful. Of course, I've looked through the cards, I've acknowledged them, but the get to know process is gonna continue for a little bit because they are pretty unique. Bottom of the deck, Two of Fire. Like, look at this. Where would you see this for the Two of Fire? Two of Wands, basically. Right? But I will go with the art because I feel like it's one of the contemplations I had while I was acknowledging and studying the deck. That in a lot of cases, the meaning of the card, like without the image, if I were looking at Two of Fire, and then the image that I'm seeing do not necessarily match for me, or not immediately. But I will be basing my message more on the art than on the name of the card. So you see, this is like a soul family gathering, right? Or maybe a regular family gathering, depends on how close you are with your family, I guess. So finding your peeps, taking some kind of activity together, whether it's dancing or singing, or even eating or going for a hike, or maybe volunteering somewhere, right? But bringing that sense of community back into your life, or maybe not back into your life. For some people, it's actually just bringing it into your life. That you're not alone, and not just in that philosophical sense, like, are we ever truly alone, but in a very pragmatic sense of doing this life with people you care about and people who care about you. And as I'm saying it, I hear ringing in my ears. This is a confirmation for me. Thank you. Two of Pentacles. Two of Fire, Two of Pentacles. Yeah, so it is about balance and making your own choices, essentially, the common message here, right? Not looking at what others are doing, but doing what makes the most sense for you in this moment. Feminines, your energy at the moment is full, clarified by the Temperance. Wow, this is huge. This is like fully open, sailing into the ocean and just being open to any adventures coming your way, right? Temperance allows us to, the Temperance energy is about alchemizing different, sometimes contradicting energies within you, right? The passive and the active, the feminine and the masculine, the light and the darkness, right? Like making it your own, acknowledging that all of it is parts of yourself. And it's like, I mean, these are two major arcanas that are so out of this world. That, and the Fool, by the way, in this case, is this magic flower. It's part of the mythology that we have in like folk fairy tales that we have in Eastern Europe, which is of course a story for another day. You can message me, you can comment under the video if you're interested to learn more about it. But it's like this magic. Sometimes you can only find something beautiful and magical in moments of darkness, right? So it's that recognition that the good and the bad are all labels that we have created artificially, right? It's recognizing and acknowledging and honoring all of the experiences on this timeline in your reality. Not judging them, but accepting all of them as valuable lessons that take you closer to finding the answer, to pursuing your dream, to being with your life partner, your twin maybe, or anything else that you may have in mind. Masculines, I've just realized that this video is getting pretty long. Sorry guys, haven't talked to you for a while. Masculines, your energy is Six of Fire, clarified by Four of Pentacles. Wow. So masculines, for you, it's about, what's this expression? Carrying water and chopping wood or something like that. It's about like following the motion and sometimes doing the boring work or hard work, just like manual labor maybe, that seems not that exciting, not that honorable, but it is very important to set the foundation for, whatever those dreams are. Don't skip this step. Don't necessarily delegate it. I mean, depends on the context, of course, but don't think of it as something that, it's not something that you deign to do, but something that you get to do because it brings you closer to your dream. And the quality of this foundation is going to be very important for the final result, even if it doesn't seem so in the moment. The additional question for today is Fortune's Wheel, clarified by Nine of Wands. Wow. And this, of course, again shows the portal. If you can see this door and the opening is kind of lit up, right? So what do we need to trust? Or what do we need to let go of to be able to walk through that magical door and to trust fully. Feminines, you have 8 of Fire, clarified by the Hermit. So let go of what you've learned or what others have told you, something like that, on the topic, whatever that topic is for you, feminines, right? Like, don't think, okay, but that expert told me this, or I read a book and where it says this, and, you know, following that. And if your urge is to do something else, maybe you're telling yourself, I'm not going to do this because I've learned from knowledgeable sources that this is not the way to go. In this case, the universe is telling you you've got to follow your heart, follow your sense, follow the healer's journey within, and you know, trust yourself with that. So leave behind those doubts created by the external sources of information, whether it's a person or a book or a website, some kind of media, whatever it is. For masculines, we have 8 of Earth, clarified by 2 of Swords. So masculines, don't try to overthink and overanalyze what is the order of steps that you need to take to get to your goal. Right now, that's not really, like, it's not that I'm hearing the message that the masculines are thinking that if they don't do it in the right order, if they mess up the order, they'll mess up the result, or they won't be able to get to the result. And this is a message telling you that it's not really true. It's more about, we need to get all of these different things done, and there is no perfect way. Yes, the outcome may differ depending on how you organize yourself, but it's not the main thing. That's not something to fixate on at this point in time. So take it easy, be playful, and again, follow your intuition. The message from the feminines to the masculines at this time, the Star and the King of Pentacles. So feminines truly can see the vision for the future for the 2 of the twins. They definitely see the masculine as the marriage material, let's call it that way. I know marriage, calling it that way is a little old-fashioned, but you get what I mean, right? Like the father, the spouse, the head of the household, you know, whatever. Life partner in its fullest form. There is a vision for that. And it's interesting that this woman actually looks like over her shoulder. So to me, it means that it's not realized yet. But feminine is saying, I know that we're getting there. And I know that you are embracing everything that I need. Not necessarily everything that I want, but everything that I need. There is deep trust with that. There's some kind of confirmation that the feminine has now that everything is unfolding the way it's supposed to. And masculines are getting ready for the union. The feminines know that. And for masculine, a message from the masculine to the feminine. 3 of Water, clarified by Page of Wands. Very interesting. So masculines are trying not to take things too seriously of everything that has happened already, and you know, all the remorse that they have felt. They're trying to move away from that and focus more on what are we creating, what is the future, can we start from fresh slate and just focus on the connection and what we have in common and what we enjoy doing, rather than focusing on the past pain and what didn't go right. It's like, and we're not throwing away the lessons, the masculines are saying. The lessons that we've learned, it's more about giving the permission to start fresh without feeling that burden, without thinking about it every time that, you know, I want to say something or do something towards you or together with you, right? Let's be a little more playful and I'm hearing naive, but it's not in a negative connotation. It's more like innocent, you know, like children. Let's just have fun with it. Let's play with it and see what happens, right? So that's what they're trying to embrace. And again, it's not to say that to the feminines listening, it's not to say that it's easy. It's not to say that they're not taking this seriously. They have been taking it too seriously. That's one of the problems. And now they've received so many signs and messages about it that they're finally saying, okay, I see the problem. I'll try to lighten up. I'll try to start fresh. and do something different, but also remember that it's supposed to be bringing me joy, and all of the involved. So I'll focus on that rather than remembering all the things that I've said and I've done that have caused problems. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. And until next time,